not 10 minutes. Oh, it wasn't supposed to be 10 minutes. Rob! What the hell? What the hell? Are you clicking in or what's up? Okay. Okay, just verifying. I saw that, but I sent you the link, so I didn't know what was going on. There we go. Now we got some audio. There we go. I don't know why that's still up there. Bop boom. Oh my gosh, it's going to do that again. Why does that keep kicking in? Mark Saxton. Hello, Mark. How you doing? Everybody hearing us? It seems we got 9 people so far. Mark, can you hear us? I had Rob in here. There's Rob.
I'm here.
Dino. Sue Beast. That's Dino Labat. Hello, Dino. I will be seeing Dino tomorrow. He invited me to go crawling. So I had to run up to the farm and grab a crawler and grab some batteries. And so which one do you want me to put up, Rob? I just saw you show up on another one.
Put the one that looks the best, and you tell me.
Ooh, the one I just put up, whatever that one, looks terrible. Mike Hogan. Hello, Mike. Mike's my buddy that lives nearby that we go crawling with. He lives in the same neighborhood, actually. Loud and clear. Everybody's hearing us just fine. So that's a good sign. Now all we got to do is mute Rob and we'll have a good night.
Okay, bye-bye.
Oh, Lordy. What a day. How are you doing, Rob? How was
I'm
your
here,
day?
man. I'm here.
Well,
Another day, another 50 cents.
see this?
Oh my gosh. Is that water?
I'm on like 28 hours of no soda. We're going cold
Oh.
turkey. We gave up. Didn't like the roller coaster, the headaches going up and down.
Have you ever tried the caffeine pills? Like
I
mini
one
thins?
one miracle at a time, Rob.
Well, the mini thins have there's a lot of caffeine in them, so you can kind of substitute, until you get
I
used to
was
not
I
having
was
soda.
I was weaning myself off and I was feeling better, and then trying to do it occasionally, it was just making a roller coaster that I was not happy with. So it's like, we'll just go cold turkey for now and be done with it. Or go that route first. Let's move that
Yeah.
over there so it's out of my face. There we go. So, how was your week? What have you worked? Oh, I know what I wanted to tell you before I forgot. Guess what I saw a new release being teased already again.
Uh-oh.
But oh my god. It's an obvious one. Somebody that just can't
Uh-oh.
put out enough. Somebody that just can't put out enough.
Associated.
Yes!
What are they releasing
Another
now? Oh
world
my
buggy,
God.
a world champion buggy. buggy, semi truck, buggy.
Okay, well, okay. Here we go.
I
Look what
and
I
everybody
got
the
something in today. Hold on. We're
oh
gonna kick
gosh.
the Origin out of the.
Oh jeez. Yeah, I know. I did order one off of Bai in Japan.
Oh yeah.
And so from Japan, they can't send you stuff that has like petroleum products in it.
Nope. So it will be open.
Yep. So I got the notice from Bai that they have to crack it open and they need my permission to ship it or to
Yep.
bust it open and basically get rid of the shock oil and then ship it. So
Yeah. So they're gonna open bag B. They're gonna cut it open and
yeah,
they're gonna dump all of the stuff in the box. Yeah, that's what they did to mine.
I had that before when I've bought some other stuff from Japan that was for my Formula One cars, and the seller divulged that there was shock oil. It was all used parts, and it's like, oh, just throw that stuff away. Nobody needs a bottle of shock oil. But anyways, good times. So
Yeah, it's been a busy week. You and I haven't had our normal
chit chats.
confab sessions.
Yeah. Well, that's good. It gives us something to talk about today. Um, so let's see. I of course got my H10 Origin back from anodizing,
Okay.
and I got the picture up on the screen, so you'll probably see that a little bit delayed. But anyways, yeah. So I re-anodized it and did it in blue. And people ask, well, why did you get it in blue? And Vanquish was offering blue. Well, there's other parts I wanted blue, so I wanted them all to match. Plus, I was doing the axles in gray. So I was committed to the anodizing already. So I just went full boat with it, and everything came back this week. So it's happy to have it back in my hands because, along with the 2 month wait of waiting for Vanquish to ship it to me, or have it ready to ship, and then boy, I think I had almost a month in the anodizing. It was 3 weeks for sure because they were
Something
telling
like
me,
that. Yeah.
yeah, because they were telling me like end of March initially, and then I got it this week, and that led to some other problems. But oh
Hmm.
lordy, and it's yeah. Anyways, let's
I
see.
get it. I get it. You have this plan in the back of your mind, and you're thinking, okay, this is going to go to A, and A is going to go to B, and B is going to go
Right.
to C, and it's all going to work. And then somebody throws in A+1. It's like, damn it.
Yeah, and
So,
that's exactly what happened. And I even said in my video before leading up to this, that when it goes to outside vendors, you never know how long it's going to take. You know what they told you, you just don't always know what you're going to get. So, anyways, what else do I got up here for pictures? Oh, and then plus I put together that rolling chassis VS410 Origin this week.
okay.
So, and I got a picture up on the screen of with it with the Vanquish X-rays on it. So, as you guys know, that few people checking in here real quick. We got Scott Taylor. Hello, your buddy Scott. So
Hey, Scotty.
you must be still on good terms with Scott if he's watching us.
I
Uh,
hadn't pissed him off completely yet.
these old flapping lips. Even Peeps still waiting for my shipping notification. Mark Sexton. I see the tires there. Yep. So yeah, so I put my X-rays on my Vanquish VS410 Origin that I'm currently building. And let's see, I think I got a close up of the wheels. Let's see.
Hey, did I tell you I got a new computer?
Yes, you got a new laptop 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. I'm still trying to figure out how to use this stupid thing.
So
It's like way too good.
I got a close up of the X-ray wheel. I do like that wheel. There was a set on the Vanquish sale group this week on Facebook, and
Mm.
Ash checking in from Canada. Ash G, we message quite frequently. Ash is a good guy. I sent him a chassis a while back for his project and some parts to get him off the ground with his. I think he's building a FJ pickup. Ash is saying I'm actually
Hey,
available to
Ash.
watch this one.
Howdy, eh?
A.
I love that, man. Canadians have the coolest sounding. I don't
Uh,
know. Hey, did you see that
Mike,
some guy already?
just my. That's I was talking about that. If you would have been listening.
I was, but I was just getting this back.
So yes, the X-ray wheels.
Damn it.
So yes, there was a gentleman on the Ash. Yes, thank you. There was a gentleman on the Vanquish sale group this week that put his up for sale, and he had them listed for $750. And I did talk to somebody who talked to the seller, and I guess he ended up taking 720 for him. So I don't know if you can call that the going rate, but that's what it is right now.
That he set the market. I mean, technically, he set it.
Yeah, well, I mean, just like the optic with the carbon panels when those first started popping up. I don't know how high those went initially, but I think they kind of leveled out at like where they are now, 350 to
Hmm.
400. So now I got a picture of how I've got my H10 mocked up with the Spec RC wheels.
Looks so
And
good.
yeah, I like the slots. I like the polished ones. I mean, it's got
Jelly
a
beans.
jelly beans. Yeah. Your part of the world. Ash, what do they call slots
Yeah.
in Canada? Do they call them jelly beans? Do they call them slots?
No, 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 no. You need to ask the big question. Hey, Ash, is it pronounced Tamaya
Oh,
or
God.
any other way?
Tamia or Tamaya. Yeah.
No, I'm not even saying the
I know, because you don't
Tam
want to give
whatever.
I know. Yeah, cheater.
Yeah, pretty much. Cheater,
Uh,
cheater,
uh,
pumpkin eater.
so, yeah. So,
Dude, that really it looks good. It really looks good.
yeah, I think it's going to look pretty tight. It'll be a nice combo. And then with the gray axles, just that little splash of shine in the wheels just to offset a little bit. So we got couple shiny parts.
Hmm.
So I'm hoping to get it on wheels pretty quick. I'll do a video just on that portion pretty soon. But
Did you see the
oh,
time
Ash
lapse
says
videos that I posted?
just a second. Ash says Tammy,
Oh, Ash, I thought we were gonna be friends. Damn it.
Tammy. See, he knows how to say it.
No,
Oh,
no.
oh, and here's these old flapping. He says Tamia.
Holy crap.
See,
I'm trying to.
there's the third variation.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Yep.
And then tomato, tomato. Yeah, exactly.
Yep. Hey, so you're talking about putting a video. Are you gonna do like a time lapse of your Origin build?
No.
Did you
I was
see the time
considering
lapse I put up?
yes of your print on the
Mm-hmm.
Dodge cab.
17 and a half hours that it ran
And that was just for the
in
cab,
30
no
seconds.
bed.
No bed, just the cab.
Do you have it handy? Can you show it off real quick? Just hold it in front of your
I can
camera.
go, yeah, we can walk out to it. Yeah, I can walk. See, look, I'm mobile.
Nice.
La 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 la. I did an interior for it today. I don't know if I sent you the pictures. I can send them to you.
Nope, I didn't get anything from you today.
Okay. Well, it's been a busy day.
Oh, I got another picture to pop up while you're walking around. Where is it?
Look at that. Hey,
Oh man. You know what my favorite joke is? You know, the only thing worse than a British car is a French car. So you're right there at the bottom.
that's where I live my life.
No,
Oh
that was our
goodness.
screensaver. That's that. You don't, oh, is there a way to preview the pictures? Do I have to scroll through them? Uh,
Who of my pictures?
no, I thought I saved a
Oh,
picture of the anodizing stuff. Oh, shoot. Somewhere. Yes, I did, but I don't have it up in the selection yet. Let's see if it pops it up there. There. Oh my gosh.
yarsh.
So if you guys were watching my last video about anodizing, um, the shop I'm using is a big commercial shop. So I mean, it's fair pricing, but it's priced with a minimum batch size, which means I pay a flat fee per color and it's good for X amount of pieces. And doing RC stuff, I've never exceeded the minimum. And I try to find a bunch of stuff all at once to bring in there just to get the per piece price down. So I try to wait to do anodizing until I have multiple pieces. So I took 3 sets of wheels in too. And these are all in a factory gray. And these are all spec
Dude, those
RC
look good.
wheels. Yeah, I some of these will probably be for sale this weekend because that was part of the reason I did these up was I thought, man, this will offset the pricing on the anodizing if I sell a few of these sets of wheels I don't need. So the two outside ones are the ones I'm going to be selling on the Spec RC fan page, and the center set I'm keeping. But anyways, okay,
Their
sir.
gray is very rich.
Yes, and I've had independent shops do gray, and it wasn't consistent. And I think because they were mixing it on their own, it had some blue to it, and sometimes it had some blue splash in it where it was like not mixed well or something, which was very frustrating. But that was an
Yeah.
anodizer. We won't mention his name, but anyways, that was an independent guy that I've seen his name pop up a few times, and if it's somebody I know, I kind of warn them about it. But I don't really crap talk people on the threads too much. But anyways, let's see your Dodge Ram body or
Wait,
Dodge pickup body.
we gotta
What?
name this segment. This is a segment,
A
and we
segment.
can't use what's on the bench weekly because there's somebody else already using that.
What's on Rob's bench? What do you mean?
No, no, no. It's what's on the table today.
Oh my
That's the
God.
new.
Did you think about that all day? We're waiting to save it for me.
Yes, yes. I've been saving it.
Yeah, I can see you
The
like
little gems.
I can see you obsessing about something and stirring about it. Yeah. Nope. To your left. Well, I know what I'll do. Wait. I'll drop me out so you get the full screen. There we go. So you
All
already
right.
weathered it.
So it's already weathered and it's got some dents
So this is the body you printed yesterday.
yesterday.
Gotcha. And what's the chassis?
It's a Team Garage Hack um, linked chassis, and it's got a little back half cage
Gotcha.
system on it. And it's gonna go up for sale too. Like you said, I was just doing this to kind of offset. I did do a full interior, so I'll send you. I think I can send you the pictures of it. Let me see here. I don't know if I don't think I can actually. Not with you on the phone. But yeah,
Uh, I,
that was my boo boo project. Remember, I had to do it twice because the
right.
first time I didn't get the measure. I didn't cuckolate it properly, and so it came up. The body came up noticeably smaller.
I th- let's see. I found pictures in your text. let's see if I can.
Oh,
Let's see if I can do this. Boy, we're old guys in technology here. Let's see.
yeah, boy, I'm fighting it today.
I'm I'm starting to get it. Let's see if I can get it up there now. It's working. It's work there. So there's the back half of your truck. So I'm able to add them from your text message. Man, am
Man, look at you.
I am I am I am I am producing miracles as we speak. Let's see, that
Wow.
one's working. There we go. So we have, let's see, that one. Okay. There's the side view. So what did you
That's
print it in?
pre-interior, yeah.
What did you print it in?
So it's PLA. It's actually
Okay.
P. No, I'm sorry. No, I lied to you. It's PETG. I think this one is PETG.
Okay.
The interior is all PLA. The windows are from the cookie container. I have to go buy a container of deli chocolate chip cookies so that I get the plastic container so that I can cut it up for my windows
Sure.
because that's what I use for windows. So, but it came out. I'm very
Mark
happy with
Mark's
it.
Mark's asking if it's a tow truck. No, Mark, it's just a back half cage.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. When I minimized the screen, I wasn't seeing the chat log. Dadgummit. Okay, let me see if I can fix that.
That's okay.
That's my that's my fault. I could have answered that for him.
So you said PTG?
PETG is what the cab is done out of, and then the interior is all PLA. It just happens to be what I had on hand.
Right.
So I did. The body was not pinched in the print. I actually cut it and pinched the nose myself.
That's what I was wondering the way the grill worked or looked, appeared or whatever.
Well, and I was actually going to cut the grill so that you wouldn't see the pinch line where I
Right.
rejoined it, but I actually kind of thought it was neat. It kind of added a little bit of what it would look like in real life if you really did it in real life. You would just cut it and weld the two pieces of grill together. So
Right.
that's kind of what I was shooting for. I did go crawl today.
You did. With that one?
Mm-hmm. No, no,
Oh.
sadly no.
No,
So
no.
now I actually took the duster out, and believe it or not, I broke it. I actually broke the duster.
It's a new build. What did you break?
The front drive shaft, it's an MIP drive shaft, so it's a good one, fairly good
Uh-huh.
one. I broke the yoke at the pinion for on the drive shaft side.
Uh,
So the ball end stayed, and then you got the yoke that comes over it. The yoke actually broke out of the ball. So if this is the pinion, and this goes up to the transmission,
right.
it it broke. It literally where the pin goes through the yoke, it broke the yoke, not the pin. The pin was still there. I thought at first the pin fell out, but it didn't. It actually broke the yoke. And I was like, well, and I couldn't drive it anymore because the rest of the shaft kept flopping and hanging up on the transmission and just locking it down. So,
So you just bound
but
up the
yeah,
front and popped it? You mean that was just what
it
gave?
wasn't bound up. That's the weirdest thing. I was
Uh,
on flat dirt ground when it did it, and so I must have bound it up. I must have bound it up prior, and it just waited until we got off the rock to break. But it did, so I had to carry it back to the truck. And I don't know about you, but I always bring an extra, so for that situation.
huh. Oh well. I
Yeah, I
don't
don't know. I'm wondering if my angles are wrong.
yeah, if it was too steep, it could be like ratcheting and clunking and fighting.
Yeah, I don't know. I ordered some replacement shafts from one of the great overnight delivery companies that's local so that I can try it and see if it messes up on these other cheap drive shafts, then I'll know it's my angles. If it
Right.
doesn't, then I'll just know there was something with that one. So
Sure.
But
Gotcha.
how? What is your thoughts on Amazon parts?
I've never bought anything for Amazon for my RCs. Never.
Really?
Nope. I
Hmm.
haven't gone down the road of cheap parts. Not to knock it, I just haven't. I don't know. I'm I'm at kind of that point in life where I just don't like gambling on stuff that I don't know if it'll work. Once I find something that works, I just buy it.
Yeah.
I get sick of the
I
back and
typically
forth stuff.
I do a lot of the consumable stuff from Amazon. You know, the little things. Like I'll buy some drive shafts here and there, or what's the other thing? Oh, lights. I do buy the little light kits. I like those.
Sure.
So
Yeah,
I'm
I
trying
got
to
turned
think.
on to that remote, um, that kit that you told me about, and they also somebody on the Vanquish group told me about that plugs into your can plug into your receiver. It's like a remote on off switch so you can run lights through it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's
That's I do. Yes, I love that. I mean, a lot of my yeah. I do. I'll buy some drive shafts here and there. Like that way, you can kind of test out the links, to see what's going to work best before you order
uh-huh,
like an incision or something like that. So I've done that. So,
definitely.
what else? I don't understand. I understand not buying VP rims
Right.
if someone is on a budget. Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, what
Sadly, I used to think Vanquish were the most expensive. They're not.
no. Yeah. I mean, I've got quite a few sets of G made wheels, the stamp steelies. You know,
Oh, okay, yeah.
yeah, I mean, those are a bargain. I like the looks of those, especially it gives it that vintage old truck look with, with the 16.5 inch wheels from back in the day type look.
Hmm.
Then put a realistic tire on it. So that makes for a economical setup, you know. So I think those are only like $15-20 a pair or something.
Boy,
And
Ash has got a good. I didn't even think about the hobby wing and stuff from Ally. Ally's pretty cheap. I wonder how they do.
Ollie,
Does is Amazon?
Ollie,
Oh God, here we go again.
it's Ollie Express.
Is there Amazon in Canada?
A, of course, there's Amazon. A,
Oh.
it's
Well, Ash, I'm keeping most of my VS410 Leaf truck Vanquish this time around. So I'm using Vanquish axles, Vanquish chassis, other than the
Ash is
twisted
pretty
parts.
resourceful. He scrounges. He's good at sourcing stuff. He kind of digs everywhere
He's
and
a
anywhere.
picker.
Yes, yes. My thing with Canadians that usually give them away is when they say a boat. It sounds like a boat
A
instead
boot?
of a boat instead of about.
A boot?
As soon as I hear
Yeah.
a boat, it's like, oh, Canadian. But anyways,
Oh
oh
man.
lordy,
Well, it could be worse, right?
yeah, could be Australian.
Oh, crikey. That
I th-
wasn't
I
nice.
was hoping to see Alan chime in. He's in Australia. Let's see. Australia time
What?
right now is, let's see. Oh no, I think it's 4 a.m.
Yeah.
possibly because I think it's, yeah,
Good luck
I
with
think
that,
it's,
Ash.
yeah, I think it's 5 or 6 a.m. something like that.
Oh.
Oh lordy, but
Wants
yeah, I guess we're
says he
going.
wants to build more and more on a budget. Yeah, good luck. The budget tends to go right out the window for me.
No, Ash has definitely got more patience than you. He doesn't have to build it in a week. He stretches them out a little bit as he finds the parts.
Oh, I can't. Yeah.
Well, it's because you don't have a job right now.
Why you got to tell everybody my secrets?
Mark
I would say it's
says
by choice.
Mark said Moose on Amazon isn't bad. So they must have better pricing on Amazon. Oh lordy. But
I'm not
yeah,
even going to ask if that's the proper way to say that.
I
I'm
have
just
no
going to let it
idea.
go. Just going to let it go.
RC Performance
Mm.
Mods. What is he? Could be like roof. Roof.
Gallagher used to do a whole comedy bit on how Americans
Oh yeah.
spelling and pronunciation is so wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, his thing that always stuck out in my head is why are they called apartments when they're all stuck together? Or is that oh, that was Stephen Wright, maybe. Anyways.
That was a good one too, though. I haven't heard that one. That's a good one.
Yeah, you're down in the corner of the picture now, Rob.
Am I? Oh, I
Yeah.
was reading. I'm sorry. I was reading the. You had put something up on the chat there. My bad. I'm sorry. I'm not being very professional.
No, well, I'm not either, but
Let me see if I can
oh
fix this
lordy.
mic so it's a little lower.
Yeah, it's been a long week.
Oh,
Anyways.
has it ever? I
So
had baby a bunch of extra days this week, so that
you
really
anybody
slowed
in
me
the
down.
chat, are you guys going out crawling this weekend? This is one of those weekends, it's a holiday weekend, so depending on people's family commitments, I suppose it's hard for people to get out. Because we got Easter weekend.
Well,
It's
we're
good.
supposed to get a bunch of bad weather.
We're supposed to actually be beautiful tomorrow, which, oh, what are we saying? I don't know if it was 60 and sunny or what the heck was it? Let's see. Oh, 52. 52 and sunny though. That's tolerable. A little cool, but
Yeah.
one of those things it'll be cool in the morning and once the sun gets a little bit higher, it'll feel pretty decent. Cloudy and 52 is a different thing, but when it's sunny, it's usually pretty decent. We're in that time of the year where our temperatures just bounce back and forth a lot. I mean, we're still in snow. We're still at the snow time of the year. We can still get snow, unfortunately. RC Performance Mods. Roof sounds like a dog barking. Yeah, it does.
Well, you want to
Oh,
answer Mark's question?
sure. Wait, that'll be a segment for each of us. So first of all, with me, Mark, my first well, first of all, I do not work in the industry at all. This part of this YouTube stuff is just part of my hobby. So I'm not marketing. I don't have any other products I'm marketing or something trying to hawk related to the industry. But anyway, so this is purely for the fun of the hobby. But I got my first Team Associate RC10 Gold Pan probably in like 1988 or 87 or something like that. And that's when I was like, ooh, let's see. I don't know. I probably got it when I was like 15 or 16. I think I got it just before my driver's license. So I was kind of in those times because I remember I didn't have a way to get to the hobby shop on my own. And I remember one of my buddies that was going to in my same grade, he had his license. So it was probably around the time I was 16, I first got my first hobby grade, RC was the RC10. And that thing took on many incarnations. It was, it was originally as a buggy, and then I put foams on it and a Lamborghini body, put a really hot motor in it, and I'd do high speed runs on my street, and I was getting like 35, 40 miles an hour out of a NiCad hot motor.
For
It
three
was
minutes.
if I was lucky. Yeah, I remember I could chase cars up the street, and if I was lucky, I could get it back to the house. That was it. And
Yep.
after that was my first one, and then I was kind of in and out of it, and then I got RC has kind of been in and out for me over my whole, since I was 16 or whatever, 15, whatever it was. So then I was racing. After that, I was racing buggies in the winter off and on, and then I was also racing touring cars off and on in 10th scale, and racing pan car oval cars off and on. But recently, when I got back into it, I started out with crawling with Mike, who was in the chat here. He got me into crawling, and I got him into monster trucks. And so
Oh wow.
That was kind of our give and take there. Mike got me to encourage me to get a crawler, and I got him to buy a Losi LMT, and I think he might have two of them now. And I started out with a Phoenix. So, what's your background, Rob? I know a little bit about it, but yours is a lot more vast than mine. Oh, Rob, what did you do, buddy?
I was plugging my phone in. The battery was dying. Sorry.
Gotcha.
Um. Okay. Now you should be good. Um. Okay. Oh, geez. Where to start? Oh my God. So around 82, 1982, I got a grasshopper, 82, 83 ish, and it started from there. My father was into it. He wouldn't let me play with his, so I didn't get to. What the hell is it doing, John? It's like all of a sudden it's causing weird. He wouldn't share his toys, so they bought me a grasshopper, and that's where I started. Not long after the grasshopper, I started wheeling and dealing, and got into a RC10, and I never looked back. Been playing with it ever since.
Oh, and
So,
we'll introduce Rob again since he's got a business called Extreme Toys, and he buys and sells. He'll buy collections of RCs. People getting out of the hobby, or maybe they're just changing direction in the hobby, stuff like that. He will buy off bundles of people's stuff and then he'll resell them. Sometimes he parts stuff off, sometimes he sells them whole. But anyways,
or I
his
keep a lot.
yeah, he keeps more than he should, which is kind of the excuse, but for getting into it, I suppose. But yeah, Extreme Toys, spelt with an X, XTREMETOYZ. You can find them on eBay. You can find them on Facebook. If you look in the chat, or just he can put up a comment, and you can see how it's spelt too by his ID.
I'm going to see if I can share. John, do you care if I share one of my auctions so that these guys have a link they can go to?
Oh, go ahead. Yeah,
Is that okay?
yeah.
Okay.
You
I
should
just
set
wanted to ask.
for future. You should send me a picture of like a, or I guess I could take a screenshot of your Facebook one, just so people look see what the your. He's got a group also, and you can buy and
Yeah.
sell on there.
And I don't care. Yeah, as long as it's RC related, I'm not one of these groups that people that the moderators just absolutely, you
Power
know,
hungry.
oh yeah, I'm not interested in that, It's funny because I get moderators that complain that I'm cross promoting by having my name in the background. And these are the same groups that my photos get stolen and used to scam, but I'm also the one of the first groups that they come and cross promote their lives in, which I thought was funny. So,
RC Performance Mod says he's rock crawling and 3D printing this weekend. The Terra Bug.
oh, cool.
Oh, and
I'm actually considering building one of those.
he's in Canada also, British Columbia, Victoria, and Mark
What
says his first
is
was a hot shot.
Yeah, the hot shot, man. I remember when my buddy got one of those. It was way faster than my grasshopper. Way
Oh
faster.
yeah, yeah, a car with real suspension, right? Yeah, Grasshopper, yeah, because that was the solid rear axle, gear case, everything that hinged on the gear case.
Yeah.
So
And
there
and
was
it's
a there
funny
was it
because
was more like a swing arm kind of. It was more of a pivot.
yeah.
Yeah.
And they had two. You remember there was the Hornet, which
Yep.
had the faster 540 motor, and then the Grasshopper had the 380 motor. And my parents got the Grasshopper for me because my neighbor down the street got a Hornet. And they're like, "Well, we don't want you guys to have identical cars, and then you'll fight over them." I was like, "Yeah, well, you got me the slower one. This sucks."
Yeah, growing up, my one buddy had a Grasshopper and I had a RC10, so it was like, yeah, that thing was. I mean, when you're a kid, you got what you got, you know. That's just the way it is. But yeah, that was definitely an entry level rig for sure. But
I
yeah, I
I
was.
actually sorry. I was gonna say my wife. So when I was in '82 for Christmas, I got a grasshopper. In 2002, I think it was 2002 or no, it was 2012 when they re-released the grasshopper. My wife bought me one for Christmas, so I actually have a picture as 8-year-old Rob and then 28-year-old Rob or 38-year-old Rob opening the same car. It was kind of neat. So
Cool.
yeah, we got
No,
to relive a moment.
never had a woman in my life understanding of my hobbies. That's cool though.
Man,
You're lucky,
I hit the
buddy.
wife lotto. I hit the wife lotto. Oh my God. I mean, you see my room. This is this is the office of the house, and I have
Uh-huh.
converted it into my hobby room, and I still have all the crap out in the garage. God, she's the greatest.
RC
So
Performance Mods. I
no,
really enjoy listening to you guys because you actually talk about RC
a
stuff.
boot, a boot.
A boot.
I like that.
Yes, a boot.
Oh,
A
oh,
boot.
that's funny. That is funny. I like
Uh-huh.
him. I like his mentality. That's awesome. So,
Oh lordy.
oh,
I mean
so
my RC10, I went between that and the Kyosho Ultima. That was, I mean, talk about two completely different chassis for the day. I mean, of course, this is when buggies were fairly new as far as competitive buggies, and RC10 comes out with a pan. Ultima kind of has like a sandwich ladder frame type thing that's really just a rail, you know. And in a way, it was kind of like a Tamiya because everything's kind of encased with the chassis. It wasn't something that was very accessible to any of the interior pieces like the servo and stuff. Everything was kind of encapsulated. I mean, it had the traditional control arms, like all the other buggies, but the Ultima had this, it's kind of like a Formula One car. It had this confined little rail chassis or like a drag car. You know what I mean? It had that center section and everything kind of wrapped around it and the body. And it wasn't like an RC10 where you pull the body off and everything exposed. You never had an Ultima, did you?
not as a kid. I've had them as an adult, and I was going to ask you, in your area were Kyosho, Tamaya, or a team associated, or Losi more popular? Like, or was it
Uh,
just kind of a good mix?
Losi really took off when Losi took off. And then it was pretty much just Team Associated and Losi. It was kind of like the diehards stuck with Team Associated because it was around longer. And then when Losi was really making a name for itself with the JRX, JRX 2 or whatever, that was it. It made a dent in the. It was still pretty dominant with Team Associated, but definitely when Losi started making a competitive car, it was maybe not quite as popular as Associated, but it was pretty popular. I remember seeing a lot of them. I was always intrigued with the trailing arm one, uh, the first
Yeah.
incarnation, but I guess that was the one they made the least of, wasn't it? They got rid of that trailing arm quite early on, didn't they? It didn't last as
You talking
long
about
as.
like the Losi JRX2 and the
Yeah,
JRX-T?
yeah,
Yeah, the 5 link went away as soon as they figured out that the carrier didn't need the extra support. So
sure.
they did away with the trailing arm. They called it a 5 link.
Gotcha.
So, but and ironically, some of the race aftermarket companies started making trailing arm kits for the RC10
I had a
because they
kit.
found that they found that it handled better in the rough stuff.
I loved it.
So
I loved it. It was the red anodizing company that everything was red anodized. What was it? Hot Trick or Hot Parts or
hot
Hot
tricks,
Trick?
yes.
Man, those were cool looking parts. Everything was hot red anodized. And my dad had, oh my God, my dad had this material from work. It was almost like computer circuit board. It was, it was a little bit stronger than that, but it was a thin,
G10.
what?
It's called G10. That stuff is called G10.
It has a fiber pattern in it. It's a light brown.
Mm-hmm.
Is that it is the same stuff?
Yep.
Anyways,
I think
so
so. Yeah. Sounds like
I
it.
I made my own pan out of that, and I doubled it up and sandwiched the parts together with the screws as I drilled it through, so that's actually what held it together, you know? So that's
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't have any way to bond it. I didn't know what, I'm 16, 17 years old. I didn't know what to do with it. So I drew it out, the pattern of my pan, my gold pan. And then, so I made double layers and then pinched it together with the hardware. And that's what I put the trailing arm suspension on. And that car handled really well. It was kind of a bastard, but eventually, because of how light those panels were, that stuff, it just cracked eventually. And I didn't want to put more time back into it. But yeah, it worked pretty well there for a while. It wasn't rigid enough. It was a little too flexy, but I was looking for my hot trick stuff the other day. I don't know where that went. I'm pretty sure I still have it, but
Oh wow. Did you okay, so you remember Hot Tricks because it was anodized red. Did you know that they also offered it in raw? You could get them silver.
don't remember that.
Mm-hmm. That's
Um,
the collectible side is the
sure.
silver
Yep.
stuff.
Yep.
I mean, Hot Tricks is still really collectible, but so
I might still have the trailing arm suspension because I'm not a person that gets rid of anything. I'm sure I just have to look hard enough. I probably still have the trailing arm kit. And then from the RC10, I went to the B2 Stealth. B2, I think it was the first stealth transmission buggy with the composite tub.
yes, that would be a composite tub stealth would be a B2. Yeah.
That was my next buggy. Yeah. I still
And
have that too.
ironically,
I
so
still have that too.
okay, so if you
And
have
the box.
so oh wow, John, you're sitting on yeah, that is really a great
Dozens
piece
of dollars,
because
right? Well, hey,
I
there's something Associates never going to re-release. A composite tub. You know damn well they'll never go after that
no
one.
no
That'll keep some
well so
collectability in
the
the long run.
well and here's
Because
the
isn't that
the
a
really
carbon fiber based plastic or something, or glass fiber? It's strong, whatever it is.
yeah I think it's graphite which is technically if I understand it correctly it's ground up graphite that they press so that's basically the same thing as carbon fiber right I mean it's just carbon fiber they lay in a weave. They lay it as a frat fabric.
Right. There's a guy I watch on YouTube that rev, reviews tools, and he looks at the nuts and bolts of it, how it's constructed, and everything. And
Hmm.
there's a heavier plastic they use for like impacts and stuff and drills and stuff. And he calls it glass. I forgot now if it's called glass fiber, but it's basically got fiber. It's got glass strands in the plastic for strength to kind of bridge a little bit. So the plastic, just like a laminate, except it's glass fibers in the plastic.
Hmm.
And
Well,
that's,
back to your B2. So the
yes.
B2, when it came out, it was only out for a very, very short time before Associated released the B3. But then they also released a B2 upgrade kit. So everybody went out that had a B2 and they upgraded it with the kit to a B3. So actually, to have an original B2 that's unmolested is actually pretty rare.
What was the update to the B3 transmission?
I think there was some no different arms,
Oh, geometry stuff or
different yeah, basically suspension geometry, and there's a couple other things, but I mean it was a sizable enough change that Associated, and they did it so fast that they're like, oh, well, we don't want to piss off our old customers that just bought the new B2, and so they offered the B3 upgrade kit. So it's kind of cool.
hmm.
I have a B4. I don't have a B2 or a B3.
Yeah, I've got fluorescent green wheels on that. I remember that was kind of like after I had taken a break from RC and got back into it again. And I'm like, well, I'm just going to get the current associated buggy and start there because it's got to be good type thing. And then we we had this indoor dirt track in a really really old shopping mall, or I shouldn't say shopping mall, retail space where a bunch of stores in a straight line type, you know, and
Hmm.
I think the place is still there. Actually, the building was probably built in the 50s in New Brighton, but anyways, um, it was really old retail space, so the guy wasn't paying much for it, and he hauled dirt into it and made an oval track and an off-road track in this retail space. And oh my god, that place where it just smells like you're in a garden, and now you're trapped in a building that
Hmm.
smells like a garden with no fresh air. It just it's kind of like being in a barn without the animal smells. And
Yep.
he even had an old garden tractor that he put an electric motor on it, and he put some deep cycle batteries on it so he could do track maintenance with it inside and not have a gas engine.
Goodness gracious.
But that's when I realized how bad of a driver I was. And I was trying to do anything to keep up with these kids that have been, whatever, just, some people are just really good at driving RC cars. And it's like, I'm not a machine. I'm never going to be competitive. It was so frustrating. It's like, but I got a good car. Well, now is where the talent comes in. Do you have talent or not? I did
Yeah.
not.
Well, that you said what I was going to ask you next was, did you have a track? And that was the thing that I noticed is when you had a track around, that area typically had your associated and low-C guys.
Yeah.
And then if it didn't have an indoor off-road track and they were just doing parking lot racing, outside, that's where the Tamiya guys and Kyosho guys would typically be. So,
Right. Yeah. And when Losi came around, Team Associated and Losi were pretty much the only cars, like when Kinwald was racing and stuff like that. Then Kyosho just disappeared locally. I mean, you could still buy the cars, but nobody would buy them to race. Nobody was buying Kyosho to race because Losi and Associated were updating cars really, really quickly, every couple of years or every other year or whatever it was. It was so, but yeah, that was so frustrating. It's like when I was running touring cars, I was running Schumachers, and that was at a indoor, another retail shopping space type deal, an older mall type thing, and carpet. And we had, I think, 3 or 4 classes, and it was 12 scale pan car, 10 scale pan car, and then all wheel drive touring. And I think the touring cars, the 10 scale touring cars was the most popular. So I think we usually had 2 or 3 groups. And I remember watching the 12 scale guys, and it's like, oh, they were just robots. The way they could carve through the track and just it was intimidating to watch them. It's like, man, they could just, and watching them duke it out, in a head to head racing, it's like, how do you keep driving that precise, running side by side with somebody and not let them overtake you and not screw up, that kind of stuff. It was like, I was always impressed with the 12 scale guys. At least the guys around here could really drive. And it's like, no, that's not me. I'll never be able to drive like that. I mean, their
the
reflexes
the
were
thing
quick.
the thing about the 12 scale guys that always used to just blow my mind was they would mess up a corner and they would fall behind and they never lost their cool. They managed to always get
Yeah,
right back
yeah.
up there where the end of the fight of it. And I'm
Uh-huh.
just like, wow. Whereas like, man, the minute I screwed up on the off road track, I was so flustered, and so mad that I'm now driving angry. So,
Yeah, yeah. And
oh
that all it does is push you down even further. It doesn't help at all. It just screws you up
yeah.
anymore. And
Take
that's
a breath. That's the guy used to stand next to me at the track. He used to always say, "Take a breath. Take a breath. Breathe," because
so
I'd get
when I
mad.
was when I was racing supermotos, um, which is a dirt bike with race slicks on it. And this was, a real motorcycle, not RC, but um, we used to race on go-kart tracks because they were super technical. And supermotos really do well on really tight technical courses. And so that's why we raced on go-kart tracks. And I remember the track manager, we had this crusty guy named Pat. He kind of looked like dirty Santa Claus. He was a chain smoker, so his beard was nicotine
Mm-hmm.
stained and stuff like that. Crusty guy. I mean, salt of the earth, decent person, but just you didn't screw with Pat. One of those things. If you got on Pat's bad side, you might as well go home because he's just going to make your life miserable. But his best advice was, he goes, "You see all those squiggly lines out there, meaning the turns?" He goes, "Just draw the straightest line between them. That's how you go fast."
Yeah, and it's guys
Okay.
like him that make it sound so easy.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, and what brought that to light was in the evening. So because it was a go kart track, they rented carts also. So we'd rent the track for the weekend and do races, and then in the evening we'd do grudge matches with the golf carts, or I mean with the go karts, because those were all even. And you could tell the guys that had a lot more experience because even with a go kart that couldn't go fast enough for the track to, where you'd have to let off the pedal, they still knew how to go faster than
Mm-hmm.
you. It was like, I remember Steve Alexander. He had, training and classes and stuff like that, really serious about racing, but I could not reel him in. He just kept inching away from me. And this was a situation where, like I said, the go karts didn't go too fast for the track where you had to slow down. And it's like, how do you catch this guy? We're all on the same machine. How is he walking away from me? What am I doing? And it's like, there you go. There's another guy. He's just two steps above me where I don't understand it enough to. And then the one time I did take a class with a professional racer guy, he basically thrived on helping people that never raced before because he could get them to clean up their lines really quick and saw obvious mistakes. And so I took this class because he was a professional racer. And he's like, "Oh, you just got to keep practicing." I'm like, "Dude, I spent money for you to give me advice to go faster. Humble me. Tell me some secret. Tell me something I really need to work on. Don't say I just need more practice." So that kind of made me felt like I got ripped off. It's like, you can't analyze me enough to say, "Oh, here you go. Fix that. Oh,
Yeah.
Mark says we're
Well.
off on a tangent. So, anyways, back to RCs. No.
Oh, that's funny.
Did you ever do oval
Yeah,
racing? Any oval RC?
I tried. I
Uh,
tried. I
dirt or dirt
what
carpet or asphalt?
carpet um banked oval
Wow,
with
banked.
a big boys art yeah, with a big boys RC10 converted. Yep.
Okay.
It was great until you flipped it. The minute you flipped it and you wadded the wing up, it wasn't cool anymore. So,
I still have it. I think it's called Woods Racing, and they built a pan car, oval car, and it's kind of loosely based on the RC10 pan car, because everything was kind of
mhm.
based off the RC10 pan car for pan cars back then. I mean, it might have had RC10 front suspension or something. I don't know, but yeah.
Yeah.
And it's all offset. It's all meant to it doesn't go in a straight line for crap. Everything's offset on it to go in circles. But
Yeah, and that was I did never understood. I couldn't get. There's a lot of science to that whole oval thing, with stagger and
oh
making the rear
dude,
steer. That just
when yeah, when
lost
he
me.
when he gave me the setup sheet for the car, because it was a small, cottage industry RC guy, company Woods, and he gave me the setup. Here's what we're running down here. This will be a good starting point. He had me running four different compound tires at each location. I had four different tires all the way around the car. That's how serious they
Wow.
were with tuning the car. Like, yeah, that's way beyond my skill set. That's never gonna I'm never gonna drive it. I'm never gonna drive good enough to notice the difference.
Yeah, yeah, me neither. I will say the most fun I've ever had was at we had a indoor carpet track 7 or 8 years ago called the Banana, and they had really nice rubber infused carpet by a company called CRC. They actually make special carpet,
Sure.
and they ran a mini class. So you had to run a Tamiya M chassis. You could run any one of the M chassis you wanted, but it had to be a Tamiya M chassis. And it got so heavily regulated and technical that we would use different types of super glue to glue the sidewalls on the front versus the rear so you could make the tire stiffer in the front than the rear and vice versa. So I was just like, but it was so much fun because everybody's out there with a gold can, Tamiya motor and a ESC and a 2S lipo, and nobody had a clear advantage. Oh, looky there.
I found these the other
Look,
day. I found all my touring tires.
man, those are nice.
Yeah.
Okay, what's happening to your camera?
They're they're Tamiya. They're soft rubber. They're directional with a hard foam in them. And they work really good
Hmm.
with tire sauce.
Yeah, we did tire sauce, and then we would paint super glue on the sidewalls. You use thin super glue on the rear tires and the thicker super glue on the front tires, and then you use the quicks, the that spray stuff, the Instaset, to make it dry,
Oh,
and that's
that's
how
just
you tuned
isopropyl,
your
isn't it?
sidewalls. I don't know. It
That's what
smells good, whatever it is.
isopropyl is what kicks crazy glue to dry fast.
I did not know that. I learned
Yeah.
something. Thank you.
Yeah. So yeah, you could take just a dropper and put a little set instantly.
Yeah.
So
Hey, did you see me and Mark were texting on the chat here a second ago about MIP? Did you see that?
I didn't follow it, but I saw a little bit, yeah.
So it's kind of funny. Here you go. I'm gonna show this one. This one's for you, Mark. Okay.
Oh, Ash is talking about the new sprint car. Ash, I have that low C sprint car. I want one in the worst way, but there's
Oh my God, they are so cool.
just wish there was somewhere to run them with other people that had them. That's my biggest scare with that, which is funny because at the farm we have a clay track, or we have clay. I could actually build a clay track up there if there would be anybody that would come up there and play. Hold on, let me go. There we go. Ash, I want to go
Can you
fast. So that's
can
the
you see
all-wheel
it?
drive. That's the all-wheel. Pull it back a little bit. You don't have to go so close. There you go.
So this is an original MIP 410 Legend, and it was converted originally to have the MIP kit, and this is how it has lived its entire life. I rescued it from a guy, and I, I have been looking for years and years and years for one, and I finally found one a little over a year ago. So
How is the
I'm very. Go ahead.
how is the balance on the power delivery? Is it slightly overdriven
It's
on the front
really,
so it pulls itself, or is it?
and it has a one way. It has a really cool little one way in the front, and it uses um basically it takes two stealth transmissions to build one because you got to have you with the new kits. The new kits they use the stealth diffs in the front, so you have to have a complete stealth for the rear, and then you got to have the diff for the front to make the front four wheel drive.
Sure.
So, but yeah, I love it. This is one of those cars that I managed to get my hands on, and I will never restore it. It will stay as it was found. The only thing on it that is not as it was found is the body. The body he sent with it was just destroyed. If it was even resembled a body anymore, I would have left it with it.
Uh huh.
So yeah, that's one of my prized possessions. And then here I'll show you one more since we're on the RC10 kick.
When you how
Can you?
tall your I get a feel for how tall your wall is in there. When you go over and walk over to your shelf, it makes you look like you're 3 feet tall.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's like, holy crap, how tall is that wall? You got
I
12
I
you got
think
10
they're
10-foot ceiling or
12. I think they're 12.
oh, I was gonna say,
I think
yeah, you got a lot of
it's
shelves there.
you can
That's true.
see
You
it's
got
all
airplanes hanging there and they're barely within reach. So yeah.
yeah. But this is a fusion tub. So this is a carbon fiber, hand laid carbon fiber chassis from back in the 90s.
For
And
RC10.
it looks, yeah, and it looks as ugly as you think it does. I mean, it is as rough and as, oh, they did not know how to lay carbon fiber back then.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. But I don't know. That's just one I thought was, and it's got an MIP transmission on it. So me and Mark were chatting a second ago about MIP. I like MIP. I think they're pretty cool. So
Uh-huh.
oh, I
Yeah.
like RC performance mods. Man, he's got a bigger addiction than me,
Oh.
or less self control.
Yeah. Yeah. I was thinking about that today when I went up to the farm to grab my VRD for tomorrow. I'm like, I keep dragging stuff back to the house because I'm using this studio at the home now. And it's like the purpose of the farm was and doing everything at the farm was to bringing everything up there. And now my house is filling back up full of crap again. It's like, it's not what it was supposed to happen.
Yeah, but I will tell you that your room that your studio is in right now, it's cool. I like the background. It's kind of got the Bat Cave feel to it. You got your goodies in the dark, and
Yeah, we got.
I know that is cool.
Let's see.
Like there's people they don't even. There's a lot of people. I would say 90% of the people in the RC world don't even realize how cool that truck is.
Yeah. So
Oh, I
that.
see choo choos.
Oh gosh. Yeah, I got too many freaking hobbies.
Everybody, John is a closet choo choo player with her.
Yeah. Whose closet? Oh.
Hey, we're gonna keep it clean.
Uh huh. Oh
If
yeah.
I can't make innuendos, oh man,
Oh, my mouse is upside down. There we go.
I
Yeah.
actually did what you said, and I brought stuff in to my bench so I could tinker with it. But I've completely not touched anything since I've been in here. It's like
Do you have one of
I'm
these
so
tools yet?
enamored with this. What is that?
That's for building links.
Okay.
So
Oh
it's
no,
like
but I have
so
okay.
it's like it's an old cup off a transmission.
Where did it go? I have something very similar. Dadgummit. Where did I put it? Damn it, I've lost. Oh, see? The minute I want it, it's gone. I can't find it.
Yeah. You guys think I got a lot of
Ah, found them.
crawlers. Wait till you see my monster truck collection.
Okay, so I have this, John. This is the same thing as yours, except it does different size links. So you've got this one, and then you got this, and then you got this. Haha.
I had to show off my grave digger while you're looking for your tools.
Dude, that digger is so sweet. I mean, I'm not anti-digger.
So this one,
Oh, overkill. I love that truck.
so what's unique about this, there's only about 3 of these chassis ever made. And it's built to resemble the original chassis. I mean, it's still a plate chassis, but oh, we Rob, can you look this up real quick? The driver for
Sure.
Zombie Bar,
Oh, driver for hold on one
it's
second.
it's Bari Maswar. I can't pronounce his name.
Stop. All right. Driver for zombie.
Yeah,
Boy, this new keyboard is really getting me. I'm having a hard time with it. Oh man. Okay, his name is Bari
Bari.
and yeah,
Yeah.
Musawwir. Wow.
So
Man, I would have screwed that one up
I wish
bad.
I knew how to pronounce it. I'm sorry, Bari, if you ever see this. But anyways, this is based on the actual chassis of Overkill that they had. It was very innovative at the time. This was in like the late mid 90s or whatever. And it's trailing arm. But I mean, even this roll in the cage, this is all very much like the original, with the exception being it was a tube frame and this is a plate chassis. But yeah, he made I think he made 3 of these chassis. And these are just
What motor
beautiful.
is that?
It looks like a toy motor because it's chrome plated and everything. So I think he found it in some toy or something. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay. I
It's
didn't know
not
if it was
3D.
one of those Parmas.
I don't think so. I think it looks, yeah, I don't think it's a Parma one. I think it actually has more detail than the Parma one.
Where does the actual electric motor go?
In front. So what you can't see in there is, so you see that black piece right there? It's kind of in the shadows behind the motor.
Uh huh.
That's the drop down case.
Yeah.
That's the gearbox. So on top of that gearbox, behind the faux motor, would go the electric motor. Opposite of it is where it would go.
Oh, okay. Okay. Huh.
And
Wow.
then
That is so
so
cool.
there you can
Oh,
see
I can see it now.
you
I
can
can
see the
see
motor
it.
mount.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I
and then
see
the
it good
servo
now.
mounts on the axle, and these things go for big money now because, like I said, he did a really good job, and he only made like 3 of them. And what they have for
Those
driveline is
axles are
all RC freestyle.
yeah, that shit's damn near indestructible.
Yeah, I mean it's a very unique looking truck. It's neat. It's one of those things that's too neat to drive it. Unfortunately, I like I said, I think there might be 3 of them. Okay, these old flapping lips, Musari is what he's saying. Um,
Okay. Well, I can kind of now, now that he spelled it out like that, I can kind of see. Yeah. Okay.
and then I've got a bunch of RC freestyle, all their limited. Well, I don't know if I have all of them, but a lot of his limited chassis. So he must have. Ha ha! Hi, camera. Come back to me. So there's another limited chassis. He's built RC Freestyle. He built a lot of Kirk Dabney's trucks. Kirk Dabney was a driver back in the night. Well, for several years in monster truck racing. But anyways, that's another. I got a basically I got a collection of unique RC Freestyle chassis. All of them are like 2 or 3 built or something like that. And then I got his regular production stuff also. But anyways, my little monster truck
You know,
addiction.
the day I saw my very first Claudzilla, I fell in love. And that
I've
wasn't even nearly as cool as yours.
Yeah, I've got Claudes also. They're talk about a quirky truck that you either love it or hate it. I don't think there is any in between with Clod Busters. Because you really got to like a Clod Buster to own one. Because oh boy, they sure were cool back in the day. I mean,
They
that's one of the ones I was debating over with before I bought my RC10 was the Clod Buster because the packaging on that thing was so impressive. That giant box with the artwork, and it's just like, yeah, that's a monster truck, you know. And where
yeah.
I live, we are we're the home of USA One, and
Oh wow, that's
yeah,
cool. I didn't know
yeah,
that.
I see him at our O'Reilly parts store, Everett Everett Jasmer, I think that's how you pronounce his name, but yeah, um, so I always had a fondness for monster trucks, and so when buying my first RC, I was looking at the Clodbuster, looking at the RC10, and it's like it. Even back then in the '80s, it didn't look very functional, and I'm like, I don't know how much fun I'll have with this. I think I'll build it and then get bored with it. And I felt like the RC10 would get more actual driving use. You know, I was able to figure that out at that age because I think if I would have had a Clodbuster at that age, I would have kept breaking it, and when I would have priced myself out of interest with it, and would have sat in a box at some point, and be like, okay, I'm sick of breaking this. Because since I've owned them, it's like
You know,
they're not the toughest thing in the world.
and I'll tell you what sold me on the very first Clodbuster I ever got, and I traded for it. I traded a BMX bicycle for it, but he said it floats. And so we drove it down, we took it down to the little creek and pond, and he drove it off in the pond and it floated. And I was like, okay, I'll do it. I just that was the selling factor for me. It floated. So
and I've
and it would go
built
up and down curbs without any issue.
and when I got into monster trucks, then I noticed that people were racing trucks that were Clod based. I think it was just more for nostalgia, but I'm like, okay, I got to build some. I probably built probably 3 or 4 Clod based race trucks, and I still have never owned a stock one or built a stock one.
Wow.
I've always
Yeah.
parted.
I've owned and
I've always parted them out for the gearboxes and tried to put them on something that worked.
yeah.
I do have one that worked. Ooh, hold on.
So you forget what you have.
This is the last Clodbuster I built, but I never finished it. This one's never even gotten dirty yet. Um, so that's got
That looks like a Diablo chassis.
no. It's you'll be more impressed when you hear who made it. So and that's got the Hesse aluminum cases.
Yeah, those are awesome. I didn't even know those existed until you told me about them, and then I
And
went and
that
looked them
guy's
up.
local. That guy's from here. But
Man, that is a cool truck, John. It really
but
is.
okay, I'm gonna give you a couple see who's also listening. In the comments. So that chassis I just showed you for that Clodbuster, that is connected to a monster truck family, a real monster truck family.
Okay.
Take a guess as to who made, or take a guess to what historical monster truck family a person from that family made that chassis.
I don't know. I don't know that much about the
Oh,
real
it's
monster
an
truck
obvious
family.
one. It's an obvious one.
Dennis Anderson?
You're on the right track.
Well, it wasn't Bigfoot. It
Yeah, it
was
was
it?
Bob Chandler's kid.
Really?
Yeah, it's Bob Chandler's kid makes those chassis, or he did. So, um,
Wow. Hmm.
what's
I did not know that.
what's the monster truck group? Ah, shoot, now I forgot. King. What are they called? They got a YouTube channel and everything. Um, dang it, they're in Missouri. They race monster trucks. I follow them. Shoot. Anyways, so
Oh.
so that's basically the home of monster trucks. So that's where Bigfoot is from, St. Louis area. And so they
Yeah.
have a lot of RC racing. They have a big group that races down there. And one of them is Chandler's kid. And I mean, he's an adult. He's not really a kid. But, anyways, so he started making his own chassis and selling them to the guys in the club. And so he never really mass produced them. So I'm just like, I got to have one of his chassis just so I can say I have one, type thing. But it's a Claude chassis. He later started to make some other chassis, but never really a full production thing.
Yeah, I we never did nobody around here ever got into monster truck racing ever. Like
Yeah, there's a small group here, and we
it's like
me
pulling. Nobody around here got into the pulling.
yeah, I mean, it looks like monster truck is really bigger, kind of like in Ohio and Missouri and Indiana, that part of the country. It looks like that's where some of the big
Northeast.
king that's where a lot of the groups are. Maybe Pennsylvania too. I don't know. But it looks like
Yeah,
it's
it never took off here.
well,
I
me and Mike tried to get it going bigger around here, and there was a couple guys that have been doing it a lot longer than we were, like actually involved with it. And so we teamed up with them and basically doubled the size of it, which is like, oh gosh, this is just painful to have 5 or 6 guys, and they were guys that also raced a lot. I mean, they raced everything RC. And so, depending on the season, they'd race, buggies indoors in the winter, whatever. They were always racing something. And so me and Mike were always just kind of fighting for last place, And it's like
mm-hmm.
it's such a small group and they were so dominant and it's just like, oh man, I mean, that's not why we lost interest, but I was really trying to grow it and I'd give her hell for a while there, but I don't know. It's, as you find out, there's not everybody can afford to have 10 different types of RCs, so it's hard to get people to diversify more.
Yeah, I even did y'all have light speed motors up there by you guys? Was that a popular brand?
I don't know. I don't remember brands of motors. I just remember Trinity and the big stuff, the big names. And
Yeah,
what
we
was the
had
wasn't there one
Lightspeed was
what was the ones called Diamond or something like that? Or
yep, UMP Diamond. Yep. Yep. I have some of
that's
those. They Lightspeed was born here in Texas, and so I actually used to get hand wound motors for my Clodbuster, and he did me a set of 15 doubles one time for my Clodbuster on 7 cells, and I would race it around the buggy indoor track.
uh-huh.
It was just so much fun. I just love that stupid thing. I miss it. And I had the 8 scale truggy body on it, so it looked like the Claudzilla picture, but it was the ESP Claudzilla 3. And that was my pride and joy because I
I
worked
had
and worked and worked to build it.
I had a monster truck conversion kit for my RC Trigger King, Mike Hogan. Yes, Mike, that's it. Trigger King. That's the race group in the Missouri area. And
Oh, cool.
they have a YouTube channel. They have a lot of videos up. They'll have races with 30, 40 people there. They have good turnouts. And they always do a thing at the open house for Bigfoot every year, the annual open house, which is in June or July or something like that. So
Are they the ones that post all the carpet racing videos of monster trucks where they're racing
they
them on carpet?
they do indoor, outdoor, everywhere. I mean, they're
Okay.
because I think sometimes they race at one of the shops that is like a chassis builder or an engine shop or something, and they do an indoor race and they're building and stuff and clear out the building in the winter type thing. And they kind of work with a lot of people that are in the industry and stuff. And then somebody's got a chunk of land where they have a nice outdoor track in the summer. But they do get around a little bit. But they're really well organized. It looks like a fun group. But
So how many people do we have on here today?
it's shrinking. I think
Oh no.
it started out at like 15 or so. Now it's down to 8. It was no, now it's up to 9.
Oh, we got 9.
Somebody came back. Welcome.
Who who's going to be lucky number 10? Come on, 10. Bring us in number 10.
Number 10 gets a free Twinkie and what's left of my Pepsi stash.
So, ironically, John, the funny thing is that these people that are watching this and anybody that watches this video, this is the same stupid conversations that you and I have almost on a daily basis.
Uh-huh. Don't you don't want them to be jealous now.
Well, I'm just saying oh,
Oh lordy.
it's just funny.
Yeah, we just got to keep it on
It's just
track.
yeah, I mean, it's oh my God, we got 12. Oh my God, it says
Uh
12.
that's down. Oh, I just got it. Woohoo.
Yay! Oh,
Now we got
11.
now we
Darn
got
it.
now we got to turn into a PBS pledge drive. If you want to see more content like this,
Oh God. Yeah, that's when it goes to 0.
don't forget to help your local channel.
Like and subscribe. Like and
Yes.
subscribe.
Yes.
Woo, woo.
Subscribe if you haven't
Oh
subscribed.
man.
At least help us out that way.
Yeah. Man, and here's the thing is guys, y'all can jump in the chat and y'all can direct us. If you want us to talk about, if you see something out there that you're wondering what everybody's thoughts are, say
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
Shoot. I'm
thoughts,
not
opinions, input, trash talk, whatever.
if you can't tell, I've put zero effort into this. Zero.
Yeah. Thanks. That's why your paycheck is what it is, right?
Oh, well,
Your paycheck is the same as mine.
hell, I think I owe them money right now.
YouTube? No.
Oh, jeez. Probably,
Oh,
probably, yeah.
oh lordy.
I'm gonna have to start doing a bunch of printing to get. But man, I hope some of your guys will come join the group, and I hope that it'll we'll keep doing this, and maybe grow it from here. Shoot, you just never know. So,
Yeah.
so John, you want to tell everybody how this idea started?
You mean just me saying we should do this? Just do it in front of a camera, what we do every day? Well, it's
I mean,
because
it's literally
I've
just
watched enough
it.
other channels that seem like, oh God, I have those conversations daily with Rob. We could do that once a week.
Well, and ironically, I don't watch as much YouTube as you do. Like I watch little to none,
Sure.
and you watch a ton.
Yeah, unfortunately,
Oh.
it's sucks up a lot of my life right now.
Well, but thanks to you, I'm now on the Scale Builders Guild. God, I love that.
Yeah, Matt's a good guy. I
That is
like
really
his stuff.
well. It's really I don't know. And
I mean,
seeing some of these
he's
things that you
Canadian.
sent
I mean,
me,
you can't go wrong with Canadians, right,
yeah.
Ash?
Well, but it's kind of cool that you can go watch some of these and they give you ideas, but then YouTube says, well, hey, you like that, you might like this. And so then I get all kinds of
Right.
influence. So I've actually enjoyed it recently.
Oh,
Hell,
it's
I think it's made me better at doing this,
and I've noticed
the
on
scale
YouTube
stuff.
lately, I've been getting pushed stuff I've never seen before that actually has a following. So it's always like, wow, there's still people out there I haven't seen yet that actually have established channels. Mark Saxton, what kind of new rig is Vanquish going to come out with? What kind of,
Sand rail.
no, my
uh,
April Fool's one, they were going to come out with choo-choos, remember? Um,
Choo choos.
Boy, there's a good question mark. What would they come out next? What would make sense? So the optic was a good evolution for them because they needed a buggy because they didn't have a buggy. And they did the VRD, so they got a comp chassis. They've always had the VS410. That's their first chassis. I don't. Where do you go from there? Because
I mean,
now
you
they
can
kind of
go.
covered all the bases.
Well, I mean, could they go performance like something like Ultra 4, like something that's somewhat fast, somewhat scale, or
Are you
could they
saying? Are
go?
you saying? Uh, four-wheel independent suspension also, or solid axle rear
I'd
independent
be,
front, or
yeah, and that's kind of thinking is because that opens up the trophy truck side too, which I think that side has got some serious growth potential in it, if you ask me. How many bolts could you use for the cage assembly that were scale bolts where the head is not going to interfere with the parts panels? Hmm. Boy, that's a good one. That's a John question right there.
how many? Let's see if I can get her up there. Seeing as you already built your H10, how many bolts could you use for the cage assembly that were scale bolts that would the head is not going to interfere with other parts panels? Ah, I'm gonna grab it real quick and look at it.
Okay, I'm gonna say this to Flappin. I would love to see Vanquish build a monster truck. I and not just a conversion, but an actual monster truck. I would love to see a trophy truck, and I think that opens up a pretty interesting side market, with the trophy trucks because you got a lot of the Ultra Fours that are very trophy truck like. So, I mean, to me, I don't know that anybody would ever. I mean, really, Losi's the only one that's got a monster truck in the market right now,
I
right? You
really
got
don't
the
think that market's
LMP.
big enough for them to build them. I don't think they would sell
Yeah, I
enough
don't
to
either.
recoup it. I don't. I think Vanquish it would be a loser for them financially, and they're too small of a company to put that out.
I agree. I think something in the trophy truck or the Ultra 4, like a fun haver. I would
Yeah,
love a fun
it'd be
haver.
fun to see them evolve something into an area that maybe hasn't been dealt with as much, or kind of like pave the way somewhere new. But anyways, getting back to the origin. Let's switch back to so flapping lips. There is only two screws that are exposed on each side.
Nope. Nope. There's one in the lower back,
Oh,
John.
and the tail.
Lower
Yeah, you
rear.
won't really see
Yep.
that with the tires on though, probably. But my, I mean, my personal opinion on this is these cages are always welded together anyway. So to put scale hardware on it is like trying to say that they were saying they were bolted together. So I would almost rather take those black heads and put some blue paint on them and try to get them to disappear versus using scale hardware and draw more attention to them. That's my opinion on that. Not
Well, I
exactly
think we
right.
had that discussion the other day about stainless.
Yeah, I didn't want to put stainless on here because I didn't want to draw attention to it. I kind of like that stuff hidden on this rig. Yeah, Yeah, Josh did his monster truck conversion.
The mud trucks, I'm not interested in at
Well, and
all. They,
it's and flapping lips also. Um, seeing when Josh started playing with, was it 24 scale? He was hardcore into it. I think it was last winter or something like that. He was doing competitions all the time at some hobby shop. I thought for sure he was doing R&D work and Vanquish was going to spin off into 124 scale. But no, that was purely his own personal interest, it sounded like. So
hmm.
I don't know what would be a good
Is
fit for them.
drifting big up there?
I know people that do it. One of the guys, a couple of the guys we crawl with, Jake and what's the other guy? Bill. Jake and Bill play with him a little bit. Um, my buddy Cooter, he plays them a little bit. And I think that's what hurts us locally as far as getting anything really established here is there's so many choices in RC. It's kind of like trying to wrangle cats. Everybody's going in a different direction, so you don't have a great turnout with any of them. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So it's kind of it comes and goes. I mean the drift cars are kind of popular with the guys that are into the metric cars, the within the car scene, and so that kind of goes hand in hand a little bit.
Well, man, I don't know where Vanquish could go and be unique. Like, they really like to kind of, I don't know,
Well, they
fun
they
haver.
they definitely make really safe choices. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
They are being responsible in that way. That's for sure. They're not really taking big
yeah.
risks, which could be really detrimental to them if they took a big risk potentially. But the optic was, that was a huge success. Just like the Phoenix really shot them forward. The optic shot them forward. I mean, they're truly more of a household name now with the in the crawler scene. Ooh, that's a good question. Where did the no prep guys go? That's a good question. You know what? I think there's a bunch of headstrong people there that are so competitive they scare people away and killed the sport. Mike has even talked to me about that, who's in the chat. My buddy Mike, he says he had tried to hang out with the no prep guys locally and just didn't feel welcome there. It was just guys kind of way too competitive, and so it wasn't conducive to people that were learning. And I think he said something like he just didn't feel welcome there, so he just kind of drifted away from it. So, yeah, me and Mike both got
Same
no.
here.
Yeah, me and Mike both got no prep cars, and I thought, oh, this is cool. I always loved drag racing as a kid, and then the circle of people, it's like, it's not a fun crew to be with.
If you're not one of the cool kids, it seemed like people were taking something that was supposed to be fun
Oh yeah,
and
oh yeah.
very like rule regulated, so it was an even playing field, and it got ugly around here, and so I've got a couple groups that one is just north of me and one is just south of me, and I've kind of been there in the outskirts just to see how it was, and I didn't get interested enough to go back. So
Yeah, flapping lips. No one. Oh, I'll just put it up on the screen. No one could go anywhere, do anything 2021, so it got big, but it got in about money and that killed it. Yeah, I mean, we're not going to mention the virus with the name we can't mention because YouTube is funny about that for some reason still. But anyways,
that word.
yeah, that time though, that really got RC popular there for a while. I noticed everybody was watching the YouTube channels, so a lot of the YouTube creators that were involved at that time really got big, and it really shot the hobby forward. And now it feels like it's kind of going backwards as far as RC in general. It doesn't seem as popular, or maybe it's the I think money's tight right
Well,
now
and
too. It's not a good time to be spending a lot of money on toys.
I know a lot of people are scared with this whole tariff thing, but I mean, it's
I don't.
bigger than our hobby. So
Well, I know that, but I don't know how much of our stuff is actually made in China because, like, Vanquish is Taiwan. I don't know. Axial, I think, is China, aren't they?
I don't know.
I
I'd
don't
have to
know
go
either.
look.
I don't know which ones are actually coming from China. I don't know either. Um, I know with some hobby, like, yeah, with my model train stuff, that stuff is almost 100% China. They are the importers in the United States are just sitting on their hands right now and just don't know what to say because things so volatile in that market right now. They're just letting it play out and see what happens as the releases come and see what they got to do to make it happen. But
Yeah. So yes, Axial is made in China.
okay, so that'll impact them directly.
I will say this. Somebody, when they were asking about what I think what Vanquish should make next, I'm gonna throw one out here and see what you guys think. Wouldn't it be kind of cool to see Vanquish make?
No,
Okay,
no, go
you
for it,
win.
but no, go for it.
Um,
A
a
helicopter. Oh,
no, like a Jeep, like a
oh, some
legitimate
real scale stuff.
Jeep.
That could be a
Yeah, like
direction
a
for them,
CJ7, CJ5, a scrambler.
like a hard body,
Really,
or
I just want them to throw their scale flare at a Jeep. I just think that
what do
might
you
be
mean
kind
they're
of cool.
scale flare? They're not a scale.
Okay, their axles look great. Let's
That's
just be
true.
honest.
That's true.
And they look even their Lexan
But
bodies that they
that'd be
did.
more development of a body because they have a chassis, right?
Well, and
What
then
would they have to do that? Would be to come out with a body, wouldn't it? And
I
and
think
that's
leaf
licensing.
springs.
You think they should do
I
leaf?
think I think they should do a leaf Jeep. Oh, 45 Willys. Yes.
Flat fender.
Yes. I like the way Flappin thinks. Wow. Okay, I just got a price drop alert on my eBay. Some guy had an RC10 for $5,000 and he lowered the price to $1,000. Okay, what kind of drop is that? That's not a drop, that's a plummet. That's a please help me and buy it.
I went down the rabbit hole last night and looked at RC 500, 300s, and 250s on eBay.
Okay, 8 scale. Those are cool.
Yeah, and nitro. All the headaches you could ever want. I think you can get like
Hey,
20, 2,500, 3 grand. You get one new in the box still.
well, if you want to go down a rabbit hole, go look up the old Nitro brand Delta. They made some really,
Oh,
really
they were
cool bodies.
competitors with Team Associated, right? They were building similar. Yeah.
But they had
Legend
a they
Muzi,
had a
eh?
Lola they had a
Yep.
Lola body that was amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Anyone going to beat the creek?
Oh, I wish.
I
God, I
am
wish.
not, but I think was that it's coming up, isn't it really quick, like in a week or two? Oh yeah, first weekend
Well,
of May, he says. Yeah.
I think Crawlfest isn't it like in 2 weeks?
I
The
don't know.
25th? Or is it a
I don't
week?
I'm not
And
really
it's right
into
here by me, and I'm not even going. I
I'm
wanted to
not
go to that
I'm
so
not
bad. I just
I'm
can't
not too
walk
in
it.
tune with the events that aren't very close to us because we don't really have anything close to us that's big. I mean, we have local events, but nothing that draws people in. I guess yeah, Colorado wouldn't be too far. Kentucky wouldn't be much different.
Well,
I'm
Crawlfest is coming up, and I know I would love to go to that.
oh
I really would. Man, that would be awesome. So, well, John, we're getting ready to have to shut it down, man.
Yeah.
This old guy needs a shower.
Yeah, I can smell you from here.
I don't doubt it.
I need one too. I had to put on a fresh hoodie. It's like, ugh, I got to put on a fresh hoodie. I can't wear what I was wearing. End of the day, you know.
Oh, see, I like this because it kind of reins you in.
I mean, I dial it down a little bit.
Uh-huh. And I don't have to feel as uncomfortable as often.
See, and you were worried I'd be worse to you on or on YouTube.
No, I was worried I'd be my own worst enemy.
Oh, you're settling in. You're getting comfortable.
Yeah, I'm getting there.
Might need
I
a
don't
little.
know.
You might need some audio equipment or a light, maybe adjustable light.
Well, I did when I had to go back to the computer store the other day, and that's one of the things that I was looking at while I was there was the mic and the light and a few other little things. So,
Thank you for checking in, Muzzy.
yeah, thanks, dude. That's awesome. All
So,
right, guys, I'm getting ready to shut it down. You,
anyways, we'll do this again next week. We're still trying to figure out our days, but we will be doing it once a week moving forward. But I like Friday nights. Rob doesn't always have availability on Fridays, but we'll figure it out. Um, anyways, thank you guys for tuning in. If you can give us a like or a subscribe, it'd be greatly appreciated. You can find Rob at Extreme Toys on Facebook and eBay. He buys and sells RC collections. And of course, I am John at the Origin Factory. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram, and of course, YouTube. So, anyways, you guys have a great weekend. We'll talk to you soon. God bless.